Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Um,
Yeah, Amaga Prabhuji, would you? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So Vijay Krishna Prabhuji, Prabhuji is from Portugal, and he does very nice mridanga, and he's very interested to join our sanghas, Prabhuji.
Very nice. Jai, thank
So
you. Yeah.
Indulekha Mataji introduced
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Okay. Yeah, welcome to our group, Vijay Prabhuji. You're most welcome always to join. Every Thursday we do Krishna Katha, and we have done 63 chapters so far. In fact, we are starting with another new chapter, 64, for KrishnaBook. So, yeah, we are all taking shelter of Prabhupada and Krishna Radha Gokulananda. So they're showering us with grace to listen to Hari Katha every Thursday.
Yes, it's an amazing group, Prabhu. Thank you for having me. You're most kind.
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji. Amaga Prabhuji, would you want to start, or Gayatri ji, who wants to do Mangalacharna?
Okay, I shall do the Mangalacharan prayers, and Gayatri Mataji can sing.
Yeah, okay, Prabhuji. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Oh. ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांशं श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांशाम्। हे कृष्ण करुणसिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. That's a good start for our singer. Thank you, Prabhuji. Gayatri ji, would you like to?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'll just sing the Mahamantra, Prabhuji. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. If you know Jai Radha Madhav also, you can do that. Whichever you can.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. That was so wonderful, Gayatri ji. It was so melodious, and you really set the tone for the evening, for the satsang. So very, very beautifully sung. Thank you very much for that. Hare Krishna, Sanchita ji. Thank you for joining us. What a journey that we all have been spending. Amaga Prabhuji, you and myself, we been in the Sangha for such a long time. It was so beautiful to always have your association. Thank you for joining us. So I'm just going to share and going to go into our daily reading. So we are starting with chapter number 64. So we're going to start with another chapter, chapter number 64 of the Krishna book. We are so blessed that Krishna has given us the opportunity to be reading every Thursday in our satsang about the beautiful leelas of Krishna. And last chapter we covered was chapter 63, which is Lord Krishna fights with Banashira. And we've seen how Lord Krishna was fighting with Lord Shiva. And we've seen the beautiful prayers of Shivajwara, asking for taking the shelter of Krishna. We've seen the beautiful prayers of Lord Shiva as well. And we've seen how merciful Krishna is towards the end, that he blesses that he is going to spare Banashira because he has given a word to Bhakta Prahlad that to all his descendants will be protected by him. So this is the position of Krishna, always ready to forgive and give shelter to the devotees who come to him. And now we are starting with another chapter, which is called as the story of King Nrga. So as we always do, we do our invocation prayers and then we will go into the Krishna Katha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. As we always mention before we start the Krishna Katha, a very beautiful sloka from Bhagavad Gita. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yoveti taktataha chakudeham punarjanma naiti mameti sivarjana. Bhagavan Sri Krishna tells us in Bhagavad Gita that hearing Krishna Katha, Krishna's Leelas, Krishna's divine pastime, they are so auspicious that Krishna himself says that those devotees of Krishna who are listening to the Hari Katha, it gives them so much of auspiciousness, so much of fortune, that towards the end of the life, Krishna says those devotees who are listening to Hari Katha, they don't come back into this material world, but they will directly go back to the supreme planet of Krishna, which is called as Krishna Loka. So Krishna is giving us the highest benediction, because in this material world, whether we do good or whether we do bad, because of the karmic reaction, I have to again take again another birth, and again we had to enjoy or suffer the consequences because of our karma. So all of us, we have been transmigrated. It is just not Lord Krishna who comes in different incarnation, but even the soul is constantly transmigrating from one body to another body. So Krishna was giving us these beautiful guidelines, giving us the GPS, how to navigate our day-to-day life and be absorbed in the love of Krishna, so that when we develop so much of love for Krishna, then towards the end of our life, we will be able to think about Krishna. How can we think about Krishna towards the end of our life unless we practice for hearing about Krishna? Just like we go in the footsteps of Rukmini Devi, we seen in our earlier chapters, Rukmini Devi, once she heard about Krishna from Narada Muni, immediately she fell in love with Krishna, and she made up her mind that I'm not going to marry anyone like Sushipal or anyone. I'm only going to marry Krishna, and even if I had to wait, I'll take another birth, but I will wait only for Krishna. So we have to go in that mode that we have to first develop love for Krishna by hearing about Krishna. Out of the nine forms of bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Atmanivedanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, we can see Archanam. Out of all of these 9 forms of devotional service, the first and important one is Shravanam, which is early, hearing. And hearing is such an important aspect, important form of devotional service in Krishna Bhakti, because only by hearing in the association of devotees can we develop love for Krishna. So Krishna is giving us these beautiful leelas so that we can assimilate these leelas, we can develop love for Krishna, so that our chanting will be deep, so that our bhakti will be deep. Because unless we know that God is a form, unless we know the divine leelas of Krishna, how will we fall in love with Krishna? So we are very fortunate that we are having that. Thanks to Srila Prabhupada, our Gurudev, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, who's given us this beautiful nectar of Krishna book. And this Krishna book was first publicized by the Beatles, George Harrison, who contributed towards the publishing. So we pray that Krishna blesses him. I'm sure wherever he is, Krishna must be blessing him, for he has contributed so nicely to Krishna consciousness. So all of us can contribute in our own way towards Krishna consciousness, in whichever form that we can. So I'm going to just start with this beautiful story, the story of King Nrga. Before that, Amaga Prabhuji, I hope I'm spelling it right, Nrga.
It is Nrga Prabhuji.
Nrga, yeah. I just wanted to make it, because there's a dot below R, Nrga. Right, Prabhuji? Okay.
It's like Ka, Kru, Krishna, like Nrga.
Yeah, Nrga, yeah. So I think somebody has joined us. Hare Krishna, Saurabh Prabhuji. Please accept humble obeisances. Shweta ji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So we just started off, we just had a bit of conversation, and we were just talking about Lord Jagannath as well, because the Rath Yatras are happening all over the country. Yeah, so, and here, Gayatri ji in London, happening on the 20th of July. So yeah, so we're looking forward to that. So we're starting off with the new chapter, the story of King Nrga. So we will start reading this. I just wanted to ask, is there anyone, we are in the beginning of the chapter, anyone who would like to read the first paragraph?
Shall I read?
Who is that? Is Sweta ji?
Shweta, yes.
Yes. Go ahead, Sweta ji, please.
Once the family members of Lord Krishna, such as Samba, Pradyuma, Charu, Bhanu, and Gada, all princes of the Yadu dynasty, went for a long picnic in the forest near Dwarka. In the course of their excursion, all of them became thirsty, so they tried to find out where water was available in the forest. When they approached a well, they found no water in it, but on the contrary, within the well was a wonderful living entity. It was a large lizard, and all of them were astonished to see such a wonderful animal. They could understand that the animal was trapped and could not escape by its own effort. So, out of compassion, they tried to take the large lizard out of the well. Unfortunately, they could not get the lizard out, even though they tried to do in so many ways.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Sweta ji. Thank you.
No problem.
So we're starting up with another beautiful chapter, and we've seen that throughout all the chapters that we covered so far. Every chapter of Krishna is a beautiful Leela of Krishna, where Krishna, we can drink the nectar of so much of rasa that each and every chapter gives us. And so this is another new Leela that we are talking about. And here we can see that, Krishna was had many princes like Rukmini Devi, and not only that, Satyabhama, and also the 16,000 princes that Krishna has married, and from each of them he had 10 children as well. So we can see that Krishna had a big family at that point of time, and it's very interesting to see like Krishna's sons were all there, like the people. Then they had names literally like Samba, Pradyumna, Charu, and Banu, and Gada. So we can see like literally we have even the names also. I mean, we've seen all also in Indramunya, who we covered in the earlier chapters as well. So we can see like here they're having a very happy family in Dwaraka, where Krishna was ruling. And at that point of Nabal, the family members, they go on a picnic to the forest near Dwaraka. So it's very interesting. Like even now, when we go to Dwaraka, I believe there are so many places which we can literally see. The place where Lord Krishna was shot with the arrow by the hunter. Like that, so many different places are there actually, even in Dwaraka. So we can relive or we can visualize. The beauty of Harikatha is that when we listen to this Harikatha, and one day when we go to Dwarka or one day when we go to Vrindavan, we can literally, the experience will be different because we are listening to the Harikatha here, and then we are actually going and seeing the places of where all the Leelas have happened. So can you imagine like how nicely we can visualize that, because we already read about it. And so that way I feel we're very fortunate because we are reading now, and tomorrow when we go at any point of time to Dwarka, some of the places we can see, of course, we know that the actual Dwarka is under the sea, but also still there are some places where you can find the Leela. So we can see that during at that point of time when Krishna went with his family on a picnic, and they're feeling thirsty, and they approach a well, and in that well, instead of water, they find a large lizard, and very astonishing. It must have, I mean, normally a lizard is not such a pleasant sight to see, but it's very interesting here. They find that they found it as a wonderful animal. So maybe at that point of time, maybe the size of the lizard, a large lizard, they say. Even now, when we see lizard, when we think about a lizard, we just come to mind a small lizard somewhere hanging around the wall, right? That's our experience when in India and other places as well. But here you can see it's a large lizard, so we're not sure like how large was it. And also second thing also, we normally we never hear about lizard being a wonderful animal, but here you can see that it is. But also it looks like it's a big one, but trying to escape from the well, but it seems to be like it's been trapped, and it's trying to escape, but it's not able to come out of the well. And then, of course, the king, the family of Krishna, being the kind of compassionate, because all those features of Krishna you can find, like even the children also, where they had similar in resemblance of Krishna's features as well. So even they had a lot of compassion to take the large lizard out of the well. And we can see that they were not able to do that, get the lizard out. Normally we find like when something has fallen into the well or into a pond or something, the least we do is we try to throw some rope or something, and we try to give some life to, so that the lizard or something can just hold on to the rope and pull it out. Or we could have done something like that, but here it seems to be like they were trying their best, but they were not able to get, even though they tried in many ways. So yeah, so we can see, but again, we'll get to know why this lizard in the well and what is actually happening. So can I ask anyone else if they can read the next paragraph? Anyone would like to read the next one?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, Gayatri, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. When the princess returned home, their story was when the princess returned home, their story was narrated before Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is the friend of all living entities. Therefore, after hearing the appeal from his sons, he personally went to the well and easily got the great lizard out simply by extending his left hand. Immediately upon being touched by the hand of Lord Krishna, that great lizard gave up its lizard shape and appeared as a beautiful demigod, an inhabitant of the heavenly planets. His complexion glittered like molten gold. He was decorated with fine garments and he wore costly ornaments around his neck. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Gayatri ji. So we can see that the family members of Krishna come across this big lizard in the well, and we can see that they were not able to help. So they went to Krishna to just narrate about that, and Krishna being a friend to all the living entities. So when we read Bhagavad Gita, also one of the important things that we had to understand is Krishna is not like just like a friend of only the human beings. He's a friend of all the living entities, right? Jivanam Sarvabhuteshu. Krishna says Jivanam Sarvabhuteshu means, which just means that I'm the life behind every living entity. He did not say I'm the life behind only human beings. Because many times in this material world, we think that only human beings and we have the right to go and kill any other animal, or they can go and eat any animal because we feel that, they are meant to be eaten by us and things like that. So there's a lot of living beings having their own kind of conception. But we have to understand, in fact, some of the religious traditions, they are astonishingly, you'll be astonished to understand that when Prabhupada was once having a conversation with one of the pastor, one of the priests, and he was there about soul, and then he was explaining to Prabhupada that according to him, he thinks that only human beings have a soul. He thinks that animals don't have a soul. So which is what Prabhupada has corrected him. He said, like, if animals are able to do everything that human beings are doing, why do you think that they do not have a soul? Because they are being born, they are growing, they mate, they defend, they get old, and they die, and they're born. And so everything, whatever is happening, Jara Marna Dukkha, everything is happening. So why do you think that they do not have a soul? So Krishna explains, because they have consciousness. The only thing is they do not have a kind of high level of consciousness. Human beings are meant to have a higher level of consciousness, and we are supposed to, in fact, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is to elevate our consciousness to our original consciousness, which is Krishna consciousness, right? Yata prakashati ekaha krishnam imam lokam imam ravi kshetram kshetri tata Krishna prakashayate bharata. There's a beautiful sloka in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna Bhagavan says that just as soon as the sun, just like our sun, when the sun appears early in the morning, we find that the whole world is illuminated with sunlight, right? Similarly, as soon as the soul enters into the body in the mother of a womb, immediately the whole body is illuminated with consciousness. So we can see that Krishna giving a nice example, just like how the sun appears and it lightens up the whole universe. Similarly, when the Atma enters into the body, it illuminates the entire body with consciousness. And that consciousness, original consciousness, is Krishna consciousness. But we are not able to experience this Krishna consciousness because we are covered by the three gunas, Sattva guna, Rajo guna, and Tamo guna. And Krishna says, as soon as we are born, we are covered by these three gunas. And we get conditioned by these three gunas. And Krishna says the one and only way you can come out of these three gunas or rise above these three gunas is by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So from this, the point which I wanted to mention is that Krishna is a friend not only to the to the human beings, but to every living entity. He says in Bhagavad Gita, Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, Gyatamam Shantim Richati. So in this sloka, Krishna is giving us the peace formula that we can become peaceful in our life when we understand that the purpose of all the sacrifices are to be done for Krishna. Bhoktaram Yajna Sapasam. All the sacrifices, they are meant for the enjoyment of Krishna. Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. He is the Lord of all the universes. Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. That means he is the best friend and the well-wisher of all the living entities. So that we have to keep in mind. He is the well-wisher of all the living entities, not just Jivatmas. We also know that when Krishna appeared in the form of a devotee as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we all know this beautiful Leela of Mahaprabhu, when Mahaprabhu was dancing in the forest on his way to Vrindavan. We also know that when he was chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, all the animals, they started dancing. The cheetahs and the lions and the tiger and the peacock and everybody started dancing along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And why were they dancing? Because they were able to feel that ecstasy of Atma joining with the Paramatma. So even though we were all conditioned in this material world, but because the Lord is the father of all the living entities, even when he was passing through the forest, even they were completely enchanted by the appearance of of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he's Krishna himself and he is the Lord himself. So the Lord is equal to both, just like how we go for a Harinam and keep chanting on the streets of London. Similarly, even the animals, they're also chanting nicely, and they were dancing. They were dancing along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as he was going through the forest. So we can see that it is just not human beings who are attracted to Krishna. It is just not human beings who are attracted to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that even the animals, they're attracted to them. So out of Krishna has compassion not only for the human being, but he has compassion even for the animals. We all know that when Krishna was there, he had 900,000 cows, and he would call the cows by the names, and the cows would come running to him. He would play the flute, and even the cows would get so enchanted by just listening to Krishna. So we can see through these beautiful names, like how Krishna. In fact, I think today morning I was reading about in Vishnu Sahasranama, one of the name of Gohita is Krishna is called as Gohita. Gohita means he's the well-wisher and benefactor of the cows and their master and the controller also. And that's why he's called as Gopati. And then they protect him, and he's a protector of the cow also. That's why he's called as Gopta. So Krishna has been, like, out of the 1,000 names of Vishnu Sahasranama of Krishna, one of the name is Gohita, and another name is Gopati, and another name is Gopta. And these names are given because he's a well-wisher and a benefactor of the cows, and he's a controller, and they were protector as well. So we can see that Krishna is such a he's a well-wisher of every living entity. Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. I am your well-wisher and your best friend. Krishna says. Not only that, Krishna says, Pitahamasya Jagato Mata Data Pitamaha, which means I am your father, I am your mother, I am your well-wisher. So like that, Krishna is explaining us to the Bhagavad Gita that he is our eternal father for all the living entities. So here, when Krishna heard about this lizard, which has fallen into large lizard, which has fallen into the well, and when the children went and expressed their helplessness with Krishna, saying that we were not able to, pull this lizard out of he personally went, and with this, just by extending his left hand, he just got the lizard out of the well. So we can see that from this particular paragraph that by the touch of Krishna, the lizard has got back his original form of a demigod, and he was a demigod, an inhabitant from the heavenly planets, a beautiful looking demigod, glittering with molten gold. So we all think, right, we are the most privileged people, human beings on the planet, but we can understand through this Leela that it is just not we are enjoying the highest form on the planet Earth, but there are higher planets, higher heavenly planets, where the people are much more opulent. They're like, you can see here, his complexion is glittered by like molten gold, and he was decorated with fine garments and costly garments. So we think that, there's no life in other planets. People in the material world, they think that there is no life in other planets, and we think that we are all the most advanced civilized planet, but that's not the case. When we listen to Krishna Katha, we can understand that there are heavenly planets where the people are much more opulent. The complexion glittered like molten gold. And that reminds me of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. Suvarnavarno Hemango Varanga Chandanangadi. So in Vishnu Sahasranama, which is the 1,000 names of Krishna, in Vishnu Sahasranama, the names of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also has been mentioned, in which Suvarnavarno Hemango Varangas Chandanangadi means these are the names of Krishna which are actually referring to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Suvarnavarno Hemango means Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in the complexion of a molten golden complexion, and his hands and limbs they were so beautiful. Suvarnavarno Hemango Varangas Chandanangadi. Chandanangadi means he was completely smeared with sandalwood paste. So that was how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there. Actually, when he was there, he was so tall, and he was in a molten golden complexion, and he was smeared with sandalwood. So we can see that even the Lord also, when he was here, how beautiful he was looking at. And of course, going by that, demigods having this kind of complexion is not surprising at all. But because Devadideva, Sri Krishna Bhagwan, who came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, also was like that. So this is another very beautiful Leela appearing here. So we can see that by the touch of Krishna, that it is so auspicious that the demigod who has gained his original form. Because so from this we can understand that the lizard, now we will try to go into the details. How come a beautiful demigod has taken the form of a lizard, right? That is something which we'll learn. But one thing I want to remind is, if you all remember the Damodarastakam, I'm sure you would remember about this when Krishna was a small baby as a Damodara, and when he went to and he touched the Arjuna trees, right? The two sons of Kuvera, Manigriva and Nalakuvera, both of them, they come back, they get their original forms, isn't it? They were standing as Arjuna trees. And when Krishna went as Damodara and he just went and touched, and then immediately the trees, they just got back their normal demigod forms of Nalakuvera and Manigriva. And then they offered their prayers to Krishna. Krishna, thank you so much, because they were cursed by Narada to be standing as trees. And Krishna is so kind that when he appeared as Balagopala, as Damodara, and when he went there, just by the touch of Krishna, the trees, the Arjuna trees, got back the original forms as Nalakuvera and Manigriva. So similarly here, we can see that by the touch of Krishna, the lizard got back its original form as a beautiful demigod and inhabitant of heavenly planets. So can I request if anyone can read the next one? Anyone would like to read the...
Shall I read again?
Yeah, sure, Sweetaji. Yeah, go ahead.
How the demigod had been obliged to accept the body of a lizard was not a secret to Lord Krishna, but still, for others' information, the Lord inquired, "My dear fortunate demigod, now I see that your body is so beautiful and lustrous. Who are you? We can guess that you are one of the best demigods in the heavenly planets. All good fortune to you. I think that you are not meant to be in this situation. It must be due to the results of your past activities that you were put into the species of lizard life. Still, I want to hear from you how you were put into this position. If you think that you can disclose this secret, then please tell us your identity." Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sweetaji. So it is another very beautiful Leela we have which is unfolding, where you can see that the demigod has now come back to its original form. So one of the things we have to keep in mind that all these, when we do anything, it is karma. When Krishna does anything, that is Leela. So as part of the Leela, Krishna is trying to, just show ignorance, show that I am not aware of this. And some of the times he plays a perfect role of a husband, perfect role of a son. You can see that in the earlier chapters, Krishna was pretending as he was scared of Mother Yashoda. He was doing everything, a perfect role as a son, as a husband. And we can see that when Rukmini Devi was there and Satyabhama, he was playing a perfect role as a husband, and with the 16,000 queens as well. So in whichever role that he was, when he was with Sandipani Muni as a guru, then he was a perfect disciple. Like when he was with Uddhava, he was like a perfect friend. And when we were with the gopis, he was like a perfect someone who's like good, adorable, always, enjoying with them and giving them the best kind of a. So Krishna was playing a perfect role. So Krishna knows everything. He knows everything that has happened in the past. And Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kashana. So Krishna tells Arjuna, tells Arjuna, Arjuna, I know everything that has happened in the past, everything that is happening currently, everything that's happening in the future. And I know also every Jivatma, which means Krishna is telling us that in all our lives, Krishna knows our past life. Krishna knows thousands and hundreds of times who we were in our past life. Krishna knows how our current life is going. He knows what happened yesterday, what's happening tomorrow, and what's going to be the end of our life. And he also knows what's going to be the future or thousands of lives from now on. So Krishna is making it very clear that he is someone who's always there sitting in our heart, and he knows our present, past, and future. But and Krishna says, I also know all the jivat, but no one knows. So this is the thing, isn't it? So no one knows, in the sense, everybody in the material world, we are covered by these three gunas, and we are not aware of the leelas of Krishna. But very few are coming to the platform of Krishna Bhakti. Very few. We should not take it for granted that, we are in a position where we're listening to Krishna Katha. Krishna himself has said, right? Out of 8.4 million species, finally we get a human life. Manishanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhade yatadam api siddhanam kaschid mam veti tatvata. Out of 1,000 people, one person is interested in spirituality. Out of one person who's interested in spirituality, hardly one person knows Krishna. So it is so rare that only the devotees, and Krishna himself says only the devotees of Krishna or people who come on the transcendental platform, they can understand what kind of a body I'm having, why am I enjoying, why am I suffering in this life, what is my, I must have done some prarabdha karma. So all these things only a devotee of Lord can understand. Others cannot understand. But Krishna he knows who this demigod is. He knows why this demigod is now as there as a lizard and everything. But still, because it's a Leela, Krishna is just inquiring as if he does not know. He's asking him, you have such a beautiful body and you're looking so nice. I mean, you see in this material world, anybody who's so beautiful looking, like, the celebrities and all that, they are adored and admired by all the people in the world, right? We've seen that. But so here Krishna is saying, you're looking so beautiful and illustrious. But you have to understand that everything, beauty or whatever it is, the source of all that is coming from Krishna. So Krishna is asking, who are you? You must be one of the best demigods, I'm sure you must have not been meant to be in the situation, but you must have fallen into this situation because of your past activities and put into this body of a lizard. So from this we can understand, by this beautiful statement of Krishna, we can understand that all of us, we've been coming in different bodies. We never know. Maybe thousands of lives before this, maybe I was a horse, maybe I was a tortoise, or maybe I was a fish. We never know. And we've been transmigrating in different bodies. And maybe 100 lives before, maybe I was fortunate to be born as a human being. Maybe I would have come across some guru or someone else, and maybe I had taken to the devatas. Maybe from the devatas I got upgraded to like that. Maybe we don't know our journey. But one thing we can be sure, that if we are practicing Krishna Bhakti in this life, then definitely we must have done some pious activity in our previous life. And not only that, it means that most of our sins have been completely nullified. Why am I saying this? It is because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yesham tue antagatam papam janananam punya karmanam te dvanda moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridavata. So Krishna is telling those who have done pious activities in your previous life and in this life, and those whose sinful reactions and sinful life has been completely eradicated, and those who are completely untouched by this material world, this material consciousness of the three gunas, they rise up to the level of Krishna Bhakti and they practice Krishna Bhakti with great determination. So if we are fortunate enough to be having a life of Krishna Bhakti, we should understand by this sloka from Bhagavad Gita that yes, we must have done so much of pious activities in my previous life. We must have done so much of bhakti towards Krishna, maybe because Krishna is telling Arjuna, even if you do a swalpam abhyasa dharmasya, even if you do a little bit of seva for Krishna in this life, Krishna, Prabhupada used to say, Krishna has got an accountant and Krishna is keeping track of every small seva that we do for Krishna. Swalpam abhyasa dharmasya. Neha vikramanasosti pratyavayona vidyate swalpam abhyasa dharma. Even if you do a little bit of seva for Krishna, like doing some donation for Krishna or coming and singing kirtan for Krishna. Prabhupada used to say Krishna has got an accountant and he's recording. Krishna is recording what the seva that we done. So Arjuna says, what happens, Krishna, if our life come to an end and we've forgotten you and maybe we did some bhakti, we done 2 years of bhakti and we've forgotten about it and we moved on. And Krishna says, nothing gets lost, Arjuna. In your next life, wherever you stopped off this 2 years of bhakti, from the 3rd year, it will start. So like that, Krishna gives us the knowledge that all of us, we are transmigrating. It's just not the Atma, the Paramatma coming in different incarnation, but even the Atma is transmigrating from one body to another. And here Krishna is clearly saying, because of your past activities that you have put into the species of a lizard life. So one thing we have to be very, very clear from the life of this demigod, we have to understand that never be think that maybe from human being we are going to become devatas or we're going to become gandharvas. There is every chance that we may slip off from being a human being, again going back into the animal kingdom or maybe going into the aquatic kingdom. We never know. Or we may go into the hellish people or way of life. Because Krishna is mentioning in Bhagavad Gita, those who are in the mode of sattva guna, those who are enjoying a life of sattva guna and living a life of sattva guna, they go to the heavenly planets. The people who are living in rajoguna, right, mode of passion, they stay back on these earthly planets. And the people who are living a life of tamoguna, in their next life, they will be born in the animal kingdom. So we have to be very, very clear, very, very be careful. Never take the pride that, yeah, now I got a human body, I will practice something and I just, I'll go back to higher planets. No, there's every chance that if we do anything negative or anything that we, karmic reaction could be in such a thing that we may fall down into the animal kingdom also, or any hellish planets as well. So here Krishna is asking, even though Krishna knows the life of the demigod, he's asking, like, we want to hear from you, or demigod, like, how come you're put into this position? Can you disclose the secret if you find to tell us this identity? So now we can see the lizard is going to be explaining. Anyone would like to read the next one? Sara Prabhu or Vijay Prabhuji? Anyone?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sara Prabhuji, yeah. Would you like to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, this large lizard was King Nrga, and when questioned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he immediately bowed down before the Lord, touching to the ground the helmet on his head, which was as dazzling as the sunshine. In this way, he first offered his respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord. He then said, "My dear Lord, I am King Nrga, the son of King Ch64. If you have ever taken account of all charitably disposed men, I am sure you must have heard my name. My Lord, you are the supreme witness. You are aware of every bit of work done by the living entities, past, present, and future. Nothing can be hidden from your eternal cognizance. Still, you have ordered me to explain my history, and I shall therefore narrate the full story."
Oh, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. So this is again, so King Nrga, he's now kind of explaining, because Krishna, like as I said, when he's playing his leelas, when he's doing his leelas, he plays the role very perfectly. So here in this capacity, he was like the king of Dwarka, and he had his children coming and telling him about this lizard, large lizard. So just for the benefit of the leela, just to give us the taste of the nectar of Krishna's leela. So Krishna is playing the perfect role of being a king, just asking Nrga, can you just kind of explain, please tell us your identity and disclose the secret. What exactly happened? What is the reason why you've been cursed from being a demigod to a large lizard? And this is what, and so here, King Nrga is offering his obeisances before the Lord, and touching the ground. So we can see that, this helmet also was dazzling with sunshine. So, all this kind of like we can visualize to see that we are not the only opulent people on this planet. We can see that the higher planets, the people are even more opulent, and they're kind of like, we talk about 24 karat gold. We don't know what kind of a karat gold was there in the higher planets, but we can see that they're like literally dazzling. So he's offering his obeisances, and now he's explaining to Krishna about his name and who he is. King Nrga, the son of Ikwaku. So it's very, very interesting. Why it's very interesting? Because he comes from the lineage of Ikwaku dynasty. And one of the things that reminds us where Krishna tells Arjuna that whom Bhagavad Gita was spoken for the first time. Sometimes in manner when we give the preaching of Bhagavad Gita, when I ask devotees, I feel like, do you know whom Bhagavad Gita was spoken for the first time? And there'll be some devotee saying, well, I think it is to Hanuman. And they like, some people say like, it has been disclosed to Uddhav, his cousin, or again his brother, and they give all kind of names. But and overall, when I disclose to them whom Bhagavad Gita was spoken for the first time, they're like really stunned or amazed. Because Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avayamam vivasman manave praha manurikvakeve bhavit. Very much relevant to this. Why? Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that I first spoke this song of this Bhagavad Gita to the sun god Vivaswan. And Vivaswan, the sun god, passes on to Manu. And Manu passed it on to Manu, the father of mankind, passed it on to Ikwaku, the Raghurama dynasty. And he says that somewhere from Ikwaku, somewhere the chain of disciplic succession was broken, Arjuna, and that's the reason because the Guru Param, somewhere the chain got broken of Bhagavad Gita, and that's why I'm speaking again Bhagavad Gita to you. So a lot of people do not know that first Bhagavad Gita was spoken to the sun god Vivaswan. who passed it on to Manu, and who passed it on to Ikwaku. And we can see that now this King Nrga is the son of the Ikwaku dynasty. So very interesting, isn't it? And so he's saying, like, and the son of, he's disclosing his identity as king. He's the son of King Ikwaku, and we know that King Ikwaku is from Raghurama dynasty. In fact, Lord Raghuram comes from that particular dynasty. And he says, like, he must have been a very charitable person, because he's telling Krishna that if you heard about charitable person, then you must have heard my name. Like, for example, if he, in the material world, if you talk about rich people, then people would already know it's one of the person is Bill Gates, or one of the person is Ambani in India, or one of Jeff Bezos, or whatever names are there. We all know about some common names whom we would have already heard. So King Nrga could have been a person who was actually well known on the planet at that point of time for his charitable disposition. So he's saying, like, you would have heard about me. If you have heard about charitable person, then definitely my name you would have heard. And he's kind of like as I always say, through Krishna Katha, we can get to know that the people are so knowledgeable at the time. Here he's addressing the demigod, is King Nrga, is addressing Krishna, that you are the supreme witness. And like I always say, how we can link Bhagavad Gita to Krishna Katha. You can see that Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hrideshi Arjuna Tisthiti. Arjuna, I am seated as the supreme Paramatma in everyone's heart. And that is what here we can find that Nrga is saying, that you are the supreme witness. So Krishna says as a witness in everyone's heart, whether you're an atheist, whether you're a devotee, in everyone's heart, Krishna stays as a witness. But the journey of a Krishna devotee is to make a Paramatma not just as a witness, to make him as the most dearest, make him as the supreme goal, make him as our supreme best friend, and to be to completely me in worshipping him and praying to him. So that is the whole goal of a devotee. And even though the Krishna stays as a witness in every jivatma, in the heart of every jivatma, but for a devotee, the goal is basically, he is the supreme goal. And Krishna says, Gatir Bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasha Sharnam Suhrid. So he is the supreme goal. And here, King Nrga is saying, you're aware of every bit of work done by the living entities. Krishna knows all our karma, which is what I was mentioning a bit earlier, right? Vedaham samatitani vartamani anchurjana. Same thing even Arjuna asked. Arjuna said, Krishna, how am I supposed to believe that you are older than the sun god? And then Krishna tells Arjuna, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tava Arjuna. He says, Arjuna, you and me have passed many lives. As Paramatma, I know all of your life, but you cannot. So Krishna, through Arjuna, is telling us that Krishna has been sitting as Paramatma in our hearts when we were there in so many different lifetimes in the past. And Krishna is going to be sitting as a witness and in our heart as Paramatma, even for thousands of lives after this life also. And so Krishna knows our past, Krishna knows our present, and Krishna knows what is going to be in the future as well. So there can't be anything hidden from Krishna, right? Sarvata pani padamta sarvato shishiro mukam sarvata smriti malloke sarvam avritatistati. Why am I saying this sloka from Bhagavad Gita? Because Krishna is telling that Arjuna, everywhere are my eyes, everywhere are my face, everywhere are my hands and legs. In this way, the Krishna is pervading everywhere in the universe. Krishna himself is saying, my eyes are everywhere, my face is everywhere. But because we have materialized, we cannot see Krishna. Same like how Arjuna could not see Krishna. That's why Krishna had to give him Divya Gyan, right? He had to give him divine eyes. Only then he could see. So nothing is hidden from Krishna. Krishna is sitting in everywhere, but we are not able to see Krishna. But Krishna is able to see all of us. So the only way we can please Krishna is to live in life in such a way with the understanding and with that consciousness that Krishna is sitting in not only in the hearts of everybody, but he is everywhere. And this is what the aim of Krishna consciousness, to be conscious of Krishna every minute and every second of our life, that he's always there. But even though King Nrga knew that Krishna is aware of everything, and because even though he knew that nothing can be hidden from, because Krishna has ordered him to explain about his history, now he is narrating the story. See, the beautiful thing about this Leela, Krishna, even though he knows Nrga's life, he's still asking, please tell about your identity and tell us how you became a lizard. And King Nrga knows how Krishna is aware of everything, but because Krishna ordered, he's telling the story. How beautiful, isn't it? Krishna knows everything, but still is asking. Nrga knows Krishna knows everything, but still he's telling because Krishna asked. Now I want to be respectful of all your time, and because it's not easy to balance so many things on a weekday and just leaving all work. And in spite of busy day work, you still managed to take some time to listen to Krishna Katha, so which is so humbling. And I want to just stop over here. We're going to continue with King Nrga's narration of his story and how he has become a lizard from being a demigod, with very opulent demigod, isn't it? And but still he became a lizard. So the moral till here, we get to know the moral just for today is that never be complacent thinking that I had this human life. In fact, so many people in the material world, they believe that this is just one life, go and enjoy it. But through this Krishna Katha, you can see from this Leela, which we're going to continue, that like even a demigod can become a lizard. So there is no guarantee, but at the same time, Bhagavad Gita gives us the knowledge that yes, if we do our endeavor in Krishna consciousness, if we stick to Krishna consciousness, if we stick to the lotus feet of Krishna, then our future is assured. We can be assured that our next life is definitely going to be human life. If we are taking to Krishna consciousness, we can be assured that, yeah, definitely wherever we are, how much of a bhakti we are able to do in this life, we can continue as that bhakti in the human form towards Krishna. So with that, I would like to just end, and there's so much nectar that's going to flow in next week as well. We will continue that in the Association of Devotees. I just want to open quickly any realizations, any corrections, anything at all that anyone would like to share.
Hare Krishna, can I ask one thing quickly, please?
Yes, Yataji.
So I know animals have souls, that's for sure. What about plants? Do they have souls? I know they have senses, they feel pain, but do they have souls?
Yeah, every living entity, they do have soul, but again, the main, yes, to your answer, yes. But the main thing is, Swetaji, again, soul, it is explained in our Vedic culture, the size of the soul, right? It has been mentioned that 1,000th of the edge of your hair, that is the size of the soul. It is invisible, and Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita as well. But the most important thing is, Swetaji, is the level of consciousness, yeah? Like for example, in human beings, they have a higher level of consciousness. They're
yes
to understand life. So in the lower species of life also there is consciousness, but at a lower level. In fact, the more the advanced nervous system, the more they're closer to human consciousness, they also experience the similar pain, and because as you are higher in your consciousness, elevated in your consciousness, there is more pain, there's more joy, and everything, that they are at a higher level. And that is the reason why we find, like, in ancient time, in our ancestors, they would keep cows as like literally like a family member. In fact, I remember when we grew up, we had cows in our backyard, and they would have names, and they would be called by the names, and it is mentioned that, even if a family member dies, even the cow cries, because she's so close to our human emotions, she's so close to our consciousness. So as we keep in the different entities, there are different levels of consciousness. In fact, even in our material life also, even we are covered by the three gunas. And that's the reason why Krishna says, Traigunya Visaya Veda, Nistraigunya Varjuna. Arjuna, if you want to experience this Krishna consciousness, rise above these three gunas, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, and Sattva, and then go to the level of Suddha Sattva Guna. And in that, like how if you go above the clouds, then you can see clearly, the flights, and you can see everything is clear, crystal clear. But if you're sitting above the clouds, you cannot see anything. So like that, if you rise above the gunas, then in that mode, you'll be able to experience the joy with God. So like that, so they're all living entities everywhere. Wherever there's consciousness, and wherever there is life, and wherever there is all this happening, there is consciousness, but it depends on the levels of consciousness.
No. So you're saying plants have souls?
Yes. Everywhere, every living entity has a soul.
Okay.
But it's the level of consciousness is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice to know. I didn't know that. Thank you.
Every living entity has consciousness, and that's the reason, because of the presence of the soul, there's consciousness, and because of that, there is life in which, all these things are happening, growing and dying and living and everything, Amoga Prabhuji, I was just remembering about a Leela where even King Indra was cursed to become an animal, and he forgets. Was it a pig or something? I was just
Yes, Prabhuji, it
yeah.
is, yes.
And Brahma goes and tells Indra, Indra, you are actually Indra. He goes to the pig because Indra was cursed for some reason, and he takes the form of a pig, and he's enjoying the life of a pig. And Brahma goes to remind him, Indra, your time is up. Like, you are actually Indra. You've forgotten about that you are Indra, and you are now living a life of a pig. So so Indra, like, sometimes, I mean, I'm just remembering this Leela because there's every possibility that even though you're a highly elevated living entity, you could still fall down. Like how this demigod has fallen and become a large lizard, or Indra becoming a pig, like that. As long as you are a living entity, even up to the level of demigods, we are all transmigrating and taking different forms, right from the higher planets to the lower planets, right?
Yes, and also just one example, it is Nalakur and Manigreva, the trees.
Yes, I was telling you that. Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
Manigriva. And as soon as, so that is another beautiful thing in this Leela, that as soon as the Krishna touches, when even with the Bala Gopala, when he touches the Arjuna trees, both of them actually with Nalakuvera and Manigriva, they take the original form as demigods. So that's I was just remembering that. Yeah. Thank you, Amaga Prabhuji. Yeah, any other things, Sanchitji, Saurabh Prabhu, Vijayji, any Gayatri, any other
there
related?
is one point, Prabhuji, so just to add. So the consciousness is on the 5 levels. So Avruta, Mukulita, Vyakulita, Vikasita, Purna Vikasita. So these these plants and these trees, they all are Avruta. And little bit of advanced animals like the moving animals or something which can respond. So they're all like um, Mukulita, they're Mukulita, and then further little bit advanced animals like the cows, they're all Vyakulita, and human beings Vikasita, and who have got advanced in the spiritual knowledge, they're all Purna Vikasita. So
Hmm.
like very different levels. So this is Mano Buddhi Ahankara Chittamiti Antaratmakam Rutya Lakshmi Bhi Proktam. So these are known by the symptoms, the consciousness, levels of consciousness.
Fantastic. Very nice, Amaga Prabhuji. Thank you for adding a bit more to
Yeah.
that. Yeah, thank you for that. So I think we are on the same page, Amaga Prabhuji.
This is in the Veda base, third canto, 29th chapter. In the last 3-4 slokas, it gives the hierarchy of so the living entities without consciousness or without life, they and then but little bit better than them with life, and um, uh, it is. Would you like to share that, Prabhuji? So it
Yeah,
would
yeah,
be very nice.
yeah,
It is just shlokas,
yeah. Oh,
so that we all can.
yeah, absolutely, Prabhuji.
Database Srimad Bhagavatam,
Yeah,
third canto,
yeah, third canto. Yeah, right away, Prabhuji. I think that's
29th chapter,
third canto, 29th chapter, right, Prabhuji? Okay.
29th chapter. If
20,
you just,
yeah.
yeah. If you just go around 40th shloka, Prabhuji,
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji.
you can read the translations if you share the screen.
Which one is, am I not sharing? Sorry, I thought I was sharing. Okay, let me share, Prabhuji. 29th. Okay. Yeah, here we go.
So what is
29th.
if you go need to yes, this is 28. So this is Tatrapi Sparshveti Bhya Pravara, the one shloka before 28.
28th, Prabhuji.
So yeah, 28. It says Jivaha Sreshta hi Ajivanam Tataha Prana Brutaha Shubhe Tatah Sajita Pravaraha Tatasha Indriya Vrittayaha. So this, if we just read the next 4 shlokas, just only the translation, Prabhuji, so we all can understand.
Sure, definitely, Prabhuji.
For 28 to 29, translations, please. 28 onwards.
Yeah, 28th. I kept 28th earlier, Prabhuji. Were you not able to see the 28th one? Okay. This
Yeah,
one.
read. Kindly read, Prabhuji. Just translation.
Translation, okay. Living entities are superior to inanimate objects, O blessed mother, and among them, living entities who display life symptoms are better. Animals with developed consciousness are better than them, and better still are those who have developed sense perception. And chapter 2 and text 29. Among the living entities who have developed sense perception, those who have developed sense of taste are better than those who have developed only the sense of touch. Better than them are those who have developed the sense of smell, and better still are those who have developed the sense of hearing. So here, people with the sense of hearing are considered higher in this form, and in that, better than those living entities who can perceive sound are those who can distinguish from one form to another, and better than them are those who have developed upper and lower set of teeth, and better still are those who have many legs. Better than them are quadrupeds, and better still are the human beings. And among the human beings, the society which is divided according to the quality of the work and work is best. And in that society, the intelligent man who designated Brahmanas as just are the best. And among the Brahmanas, one who studied the Vedas is best, and among the Brahmanas who studied Vedas, one who actually knows the purport of the Vedas is the best. And the purport of the Vedas is to understand that Krishna is the Bhagavan. Yes, Prabhuji, is that till where?
Just two more shlokas, Prabhuji. There it is.
Sure, Prabhuji. Better than the Brahmanas who knows the purpose of the Vedas is he who can dissipate all doubts. And better than him is one who strictly follows the Brahminical principles. Better than him is one who is liberated from all material contamination. And better than him is a pure devotee who executes devotional service without expectation of reward. And therefore, I do not find a greater person than he who has no interest outside of me, outside of mine, and who therefore engages and dedicates all his activities and all his life, everything unto me without cessation.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. I think it's wonderful.
That was very helpful. Thank you so much, both of you.
Sure. I mean, we are here, we are as devotees, we had to clarify doubts, bring to our mind, because, Sanatan Dharma is something, it's the most scientific religion, because in today's world, everybody, all the children or the new generation, they want to know from a scientific point of view. So Krishna says, Imam Vivasvate Yogam. I explained the science of yoga. So Krishna himself is telling about the science of yoga. Like, it's the most scientific religion, and we are all born in the Sanatan Dharma. So we are so fortunate.
Yes.
This is the association that we have to. That's why it is very important, because lack of knowledge is what is causing so much of destruction, even in the name of religion. Lack of knowledge. But Krishna consciousness is that kind of a thing which can share this knowledge with everyone in the world. Because only the Krishna consciousness, only the devotees of Krishna with the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita can give an actual knowledge of our relationship with Krishna, who we are, who Krishna is. So thank you. Thank you, Swetaji. Always very curious. This is very important in spiritual life, to be curious and asking questions and trying to know and understand. That makes it even more interactive and engaging with our devotees. So
Thank you.
So I want to just humbly thank each one of you for giving your association today evening. Not so easy in the middle of a busy materialistic life to take some time, but still you made it happen. That's Krishna's grace. So let's close for today. Vanchakalpataribhyasya kripa sindhubhya
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णवृंद की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय
Hare Krishna,
Let's all
everyone.
say please 3 loud Hari Bols to Prabhu, Shyam Prabhu for the wonderful class. Hari Bol,
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol,
Hari
Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Thank you so much, friendly devotees, and let's join next Thursday to continue the nectar of King Nrga and let's see what he says to Krishna. Thank you.
And the
Everyone.
best way to learn Prabhu is through reading amongst devotees, like devotee association makes, like, that thing Moga Prabhu shared, like that was so much connected and relevant. So this association really makes, we can definitely read the books on our own. Prabhupada has written nice purports, but when we read it in association, so much we gain from it. So that's the best. Instead of spending, I know it's difficult for weekdays to manage everything, but even if you manage some time, and there's so much we miss, we can't do every day, but whatever little we can do, we gain so much. Like it's addition each and every day, whatever we can do. So into Krishna consciousness, instead of spending the time in mundane things, this is so meaningful.
Exactly. Sure, Sanchitaji. I mean, all glories to you. I mean, how you manage your family life and then still take time for bhakti is something which is very admirable. Thank you so much. Vijay Prabhuji, anything would you like to add? This is the typical pattern of our class. But yeah, hope you're okay with the class. Yeah, we'll again have your association of everyone next Thursday. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण।